What is up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge as we get a little game one preview of the Super Regional OU versus Florida State tomorrow night. Before we get started with this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications. Also, go check out FanStop. Website is fanstop.com. When you get there, use code SURGE at checkout. You get 10% off your first 3 months. Officially licensed gear. Check it out, fanstop.com. Hunter, game one tomorrow night, OU versus Florida State, rematch of last year's World Series championship. And I think a lot of people are expecting Maxwell versus Danley tomorrow. And I don't expect any different. I expect the same thing. And I think the whole key to this game tomorrow, in my opinion, Hunter, is the start of this game. I think it's going to be how well can OU get off to a good start and maybe get a lead of a couple runs. And then from there, you got Maxwell and maybe can get to their bullpen. And, because that's been the struggle for Florida State's been the pitching. Everybody's talked about that's the struggle. The pitching is the issue. Can OU's bats get going? Because Florida State can hit the ball. So hopefully the bats are awake tomorrow night.
Yeah, Florida State mentioned it on a video we put out yesterday. 28-5 in their last 33 games. Over that span, they're averaging about 8 runs a game. So very, very good offense. Michaela Edenfield, even better than a year ago. Jasoni Beecham is going to be the freshman of the year when that's announced, best freshman in the country, by a pretty good margin, leading the team in every single category that matters for Florida State. So, yeah, Oklahoma has to get the bats going. They have to do it early. You don't want to put yourself in a position where, because this Florida State team, they can hit the ball, they can slug, they're going to get extra base hits, they're going to put runs up on the scoreboard. I think even against Kelly Maxwell, you got to be able to score runs early so that you're not having to send Kelly Maxwell out to the circle trailing. And that's usually when it starts to snowball for a pitcher, is when you're going out there after an offense getting after you early, and then you don't have any run support behind you. So it gets really tough to be able to slow down a very talented offense.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, Hunter, how Kelly Maxwell performs because she's been really good. But I think every time you get to the next weekend right now, it's the pressure builds. And what we don't know as Sooner fans, and what OU probably anybody associated with OU doesn't know, is how will Kelly Maxwell react when she gets into these more pressurized situations? Because when you're starting pitcher at Oklahoma and quote the star pitcher at Oklahoma, the pressure does fall on you because you've won 3 national championships in a row. You are the hunted. You're the number 2 seed. You're expected to be there at the end playing in that championship. So how does she perform under pressure? Because game one, I would say game one is one of the most pressure-filled games because getting the game one is huge for series. I mean, getting that 1-0 lead, not having to, you lose back-to-back games to not win the Super Regional is huge. So how will she perform tomorrow, Hunter? What are you expecting from her? Are you expecting her to kind of keep on the pace she's been doing?
Yes. I think Florida State is going to score some runs. I think they are. They're a very talented offense, as I mentioned, and they're led by freshmen. They swept through their regional. I think it's going to continue. Everything's starting to click for them at the right time of the year, the end of the season, in April to May, and then into June if they make it there. So I think that continues, but you saw it last weekend with Kelly Maxwell, which is how dominant she was against Oregon. It was 7 innings, 1 earned run, a home run in the first inning in game 1 of the regional, and then to close it down in a tight situation, only a 3-2 lead, to be able to close the door on the Ducks, and 2 more scoreless innings there for Maxwell. I think that continues. I think maybe she doesn't put the zeros on the scoreboard like she did a weekend ago, but I think Kelly Maxwell does what needs to be done for Oklahoma to get the win. I think the biggest thing it falls back on is what kind of offense are you going to get from Oklahoma?
Yeah, and defensively for Oklahoma, looking back at the regional, really good defensive, I thought, performance from Oklahoma. You had some huge plays in those games. Just off the top of my head, the burrito one at third down the line. You had probably the play of the game was Riley Boone just pegging somebody at home plate there to save a run. I think that was big. So defense has been playing good. I think the key for Sooners pitching, not just Maxwell Hunter, I think in general is the control. And I think when they pitch with really good control, they don't give runners free bags either by walk batters or hit batters. I mean, it just makes so much better for the Sooner staff. So hopefully they keep that up because it was outstanding in the regional. Looking at the plate, Hunter, we've talked about it. Sidney Sanders, we've talked about, Torres, just how they've been struggling and they really need to get it going. What are you expecting to see in the lineup tomorrow night? Are you expecting anything different? Are you expecting to see Torres at second, Sanders at first? Give me your thoughts.
I mean, it would make sense for something to change up, but I honestly don't think it will, other than maybe the order again. That seems to change quite a bit. It seems like right now that the defense of Alina Torres and Sidney Sanders is too valuable. It's just you got to figure it out in the lineup because you have those. I mean, last week in I believe game 2 of the regional, they were batting back to back, 7-8, and then Riley Boone at 9. That is not a recipe for success when you have 2 hitters that are on massive cold streaks right now. Some of the worst, probably of their career. It seems like it's just not going their way. Sidney Sanders can draw an occasional walk, but that's about it right now. You got to figure it out. And they have other options like Avery Hodge got into the lineup in game 3 of that regional. Then Riley Ludlam, like transfer veteran, played 4 years, has really hit the ball well for Oklahoma this year. Kind of been a surprise bat, 328 batting average. And is that someone who could be inserted in at first base? I don't know. I'm interested to see how the back end of the lineup ends up.
Yeah, and Hodge had a really key at bat in that game with fouling off, I think, 10, 12 pitches or something like that. And look, I will say this about Hodge. She gives you some different options at the plate with either bunting, slapping at the ball, putting it in play with her speed. I mean, you don't get that with Sidney Sanders. And to be flat out honest, Hunter, Torres and Sanders, it'd be different if they were spraying the ball and hitting it hard in places, but there hasn't been a whole lot to really say, wow, they got robbed or hit it hard, but right at somebody. It's just not being good. So hopefully that's got to change.
It seems like a lot of weak contact or harder contact, but in the infield that, I mean, if a runner's on, it's going to be a double play. It's just been a very bad few weeks going back to that UCF series for the 2 of them.
Yep, no better week to get it started than this weekend right here. But Hunter, Sooner standout, game 1. Who you got?
Again, gonna say it one more time. Probably not the only time I'll say it the rest of the year. Tiara Jennings, senior captain, 21 home runs on the year, is really starting to get it all clicking again. She had 2 home runs in the regionals. I think that continues when you're playing a team that, I mean, 2 of the last 3 national championships, Tiara Jennings has faced Florida State in that championship series. You're getting them this time in Love's Field for Supers. So, again, senior captains are what's going to win you a national championship. And I think TRA steps up and continues to inch closer to that 100 mark.
I'm going to go something total opposite here because you picked the senior. I'm going with a freshman and Ella Parker. I think Ella Parker continues to shine. I think she has an outstanding game, hits one out of the yard again, and proves to be a valuable part of game 1. So I'm going to go with Ella Parker, and you go with Tiara Jennings. So there you have it, Sooner fans. Game 1, OU versus Florida State preview. Appreciate you watching the channel. As always, make sure you subscribe. Be a part of it. Turn those notifications on. We'll be back with you right after the game with a post-game recap. Cheer them on. Let's go Sooners. Super Regionals here. Boomer.